What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Sunday night's late night news roundup here on Anfield Agenda, where we're going to be giving you some developing news around interest in Endo from a Premier League club. We're also going to be linking Liverpool to a Serie A midfielder and a couple of other interesting bits and pieces, including the fact that we may have a free run at Alexander Isak. That and lots more to come over the next few minutes, but you know what I'm going to say. We do want to know your thoughts on all of these subjects, so once you've watched the video, please let us know in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoy it, and most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So, right, I'm going to get into a story that is just an interesting one, really, to kick us off, and that is about John Terry speaking about his Mount Rushmore of Premier League defenders. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, he has included Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, and this is what he had to say. I'm going to go with Virgil van Dijk in terms of a bit more of a modern era to myself and Rio Ferdinand. The game looks easy for him, very comfortable. I think he's a top player. And I just wonder, in the pantheon of great centre-backs of the Premier League era, your Carvalhos, your Ferdinands, your Terrys, your Campbells, where does Virg fit in? Is he right at the very top? Because I would argue he'd certainly be in any greatest centre-back pairing of the Premier League era. So was Virgil the very best to do in the Premier League, or were there others who maybe deserve a bit more credit? Let me know in the comments. So we're going to move on now to the situation with Wataru Endo. As we've said many times, he may move on this summer, he may not. But Caught Offside have put out a very interesting report to say that Endo is wanted by Fulham, Ipswich Town and Wolves. Despite his pedigree as a defensive midfielder, Endo has spent most of the current season on the bench, with Slot opting for other midfield options. The lack of game time has led to growing speculation about his future at Anfield. This piece says, it's clear that the 32-year-old is eager to play regular football, especially as he enters the latter stages of his career. So, as well as Fulham, Ipswich Town and Wolves, we know that Eintracht Frankfurt are interested. So, do you think we lose Wataru this summer? And Wataru, excuse me, I keep calling him Wataru, my apologies, Wataru, do we think we lose Endo this summer? And what type of price tag do you think Liverpool could expect to get for the Japanese international? Personally, I'd like him to stay around. I think he's a modern closer, a modern James Milner, but if Endo wants more game time, well, I guess Liverpool need to find a move that works for him, and a move that, of course, works financially for the club. So how much would you sell Endo for if a Premier League club in particular came and knocking in this summer's transfer window? I'd say we could probably make a profit on what we bought him for, but be interested to see what you guys think. So I want to move on to Matheus Cunha for a moment, because he was done a little bit dirty by Fabrizio Romano putting up quotes from him that don't really give the full context of what he said. So basically, Cunha was talking about wanting to push on and move to a club where he's going to be challenging to win trophies. But this is the full context of what he said. I had a lot of offers, but I wouldn't feel well if I had done it. And he's talking about leaving in the January window. Some things you cannot control, but I couldn't leave the club in the middle of the season in a difficult situation in the relegation zone. He went on to say, now we're closer to achieving our goal of staying up. I've made it clear I need to take the next step. I want to fight for titles, for big things. I have potential. And he does indeed have potential, but where that move is going to be, I'm not sure. Liverpool, at this minute, look like we're going for Isak. Arsenal, what I'm going to move on now to talk to you about a developing story that David Ornstein put out to say Arsenal have strong interest in Victor Gyökeres as a possible striker signing. He goes on to speak about Arsenal's new sporting director, Andrea Berta, who came in from Atleti, and they said Arsenal have interest in the 26-year-old. So, if Arsenal, let's say, move for him, and Liverpool are looking for Isak, where does Cunha end up? Does he go back maybe over to Spain, end up with Atleti or something? I don't know, but it's an interesting one. We know he has a release clause of about £62.5 million. So let us know your thoughts on this. And of course, on the news that if what David Ornstein said about Arsenal going after Gyökeres is true, and I've no reason to believe it isn't, does that give us a free run at Isak? It's all very well and good saying a free run. Newcastle still have to be willing to sell, but if Arsenal aren't in the mix and nobody else really has the dough, surely Liverpool won't really have too much competition then, other than convincing Newcastle to part ways with their prized asset. So let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think Gyökeres would be a success at Arsenal, and would that signing worry you? So, bit of good news now before we move on to the Serie A midfielder that I was mentioning at the start of this video. The Anfield Wrap posted earlier on to say that Conor Bradley has been back in training since Wednesday, which is great news. We had a poll tonight on the channel and we said, when Conor Bradley and Trent are both back fit, what do you do for the rest of the season? Do you play Conor Bradley? Do you play Trent Alexander-Arnold? Or do you rotate between both? And 67% of people said that they would play Conor Bradley. And the thought process seemed to be that, why give minutes to a player who's not going to be here when we need to get a good look at Bradley and see how he fits in with the rest of the team over these last 9 games to give us more certainty about what we might need to do in the right back situation. This wouldn't be a case of screw Trent, he's off, but more a case of us being selfish as a club and looking at it and thinking, well, there's more benefits to playing Conor Bradley because we get to see how much we can rely on him and how good he really is here in the title run in. That would be my take on it anyway, but interested to know what you guys think. Overall though, very good news to hear that Conor Bradley has been back training since Wednesday. You know, whether he's fit enough to start, I'm not sure, but again, if he's in the matchday squad, that'll be a great boost for Arna. So, Transfer News Live have put out a post crediting Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy. And this piece here said that Liverpool are mulling over an offer of around €40 million for Lazio midfielder Nicolo Ravella. And I know absolutely nothing about this guy. So I need your help here. Anybody who watches Serie A, you certainly watch a lot more of it than I do. Let us know your thoughts on this one. €40 million is what they're saying. Nicolo Ravella. Good enough? Not good enough? What type of midfielder is he? And more importantly, do we need to bring in another midfielder? We've got Stefan Bajcetic coming back. If Elliott moves on, then yeah, you could probably bring in another attack-minded midfielder. But as I said, being completely honest, I've no idea about Nicolo Ravella. But €40 million sounds like a realistic amount of money. It's right there in the sweet spot for FSG of about 30 to 35 million quid. So let me know your thoughts on that one. And that is pretty much it for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back tomorrow, normally at 8:45 for the late night agenda. So I hope you can join us for that. The preview for the Everton game, as I mentioned, is coming out at 10 a.m. in the morning. And we'll have another news video coming up as well. But all roads lead to the Merseyside derby this Wednesday. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff. We'll be live from 6:45 here on the channel to take you through the game, match reaction, player ratings and everything else you would expect. I'm so excited. It's been too long since the Reds have played. It's been weird this weekend watching the FA Cup games but no Premier League games. So all roads lead to that massive game. One step closer to the league title. I want 2 wins this week. 1 against Everton, 1 away against Fulham. And then we can start counting down. Only 3 more to go if we get those wins. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We will see you tomorrow as well. Appreciate your support. Much love. Bye-bye. Oh, and don't forget about our live shows. You can get the tickets with a link in the description. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.